The following program has been generously funded by the Patterson Foundation. This book is cool.
Welcome to This Book is Cool. My name is Beth Duda. I'm the director of the Suncoast Campaign for grade level reading. We have a wonderful book to share with you today. It's titled How Tia Lola Came to Visit, but visit is crossed out and the word stay is in its place. So How Tia Lola Came to Stay. And it was written by Julia Alvarez. We have a special guest to talk to us about why she thinks this book is cool. With us today, we have Carolina Franco. Hi, Carolina.
Hi, Beth. How are you?
I am well. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So we're going to explore this Tia Lola book, and I know that you speak Spanish as your first language. Maybe you would explain to us, what does the word tia mean in Spanish?
It's aunt. So Aunt Lola.
Aunt Lola. Well, in the book, Miguel and his sister and his mom, they live in the United States. They grew up in New York City, but they've moved to a new community. But Tia Lola is from the Dominican Republic, and she doesn't speak English at all. So when she comes for a visit, Miguel has to learn some Spanish words so he's able to talk to her when she comes. And at first, he doesn't want to use the word tia because in his mind, that makes him seem different from all the other kids because, you know, they use the word aunt or auntie, and he's got to use the word tia. So when you grew up, did you call your aunts and uncles Tia and Tio?
That's correct. Yes. I had my Tia Beatriz and my Tio Hector Fabio.
I loved the book because Tia Lola is I guess I would say, a big personality. What are some of the reasons why you think this book is cool?
I think it's very cool because I like how Tia Lola is so young at heart. She's full of surprises. She's very friendly, very loving, and she's a lot of fun to be around. She has a lot of energy for sure.
She does. And I think we learn that the family was going through a little bit of a struggle before Tia Lola comes to visit. The mom and dad are separated and are thinking of getting a divorce. So there's been a lot of sadness in the family. But when Tia Lola comes, it kind of changes the energy because she is so much fun. And I love the phrase they used, young at heart, because Miguel in the very beginning asks how old Tia Lola is. And his mother says, I don't know. It doesn't matter. All I know is that she's young at heart. And that turns out to be true. Tia Lola dances in the kitchen and in the living room, and she does all kinds of things that change the energy for everyone who's around them. And part of that is really good, but part of it is a little bit embarrassing for Miguel because he's trying to fit in a new community. And, you know, Tia Lola wears bright colors and she wears scarves on her head and she's put a mantilla in the window with roses on it. And he wants to fit in, and it seems like all she does is stick out. And I know that there's some tension in the book, but I thought the mom did a great idea with some advice.
She did. I love how Miguel's mom, she believes that we should all have a very positive attitude, that we have to love people for who they are. That way they can become the best they can ever be. And a good question came to my mind that I think we should all ask ourselves, and that is, do we encourage others to do their best? I think that's very important. It's very necessary that we help encourage others.
I think Miguel learns a little bit that he's got to let Tia Lola be who she is.
That is
No.
correct.
Now, when Tia Lola comes to the United States for her visit, she doesn't speak any English at all. She learns some along the way, and that provides a lot of humor in the book. I didn't really think before I read the book about some of the crazy phrases that we have in the United States. And one of the things, like if somebody says to me, I have a green thumb, I understand that means that they have great success in growing plants. But Tia Lola thought having a green thumb meant something was wrong with your thumb and maybe you had to go to the emergency room. Were there things in the book those kind of misunderstandings that you enjoyed?
Yes, I didn't just enjoy them. I did relate to that because I went through that when I first moved to the States. So that happened to me quite often at the beginning. But yeah, like the other expression that she mentions is that she gets really worried when she hears people say, it's raining cats and dogs. So yeah, obviously, if you think about it, for someone who's not used to that expression, that sounds very, very dangerous.
It does, and a little scary.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So when you first moved to the States, you did not know English yet? You learned it after you arrived?
I understood a lot, but I was very shy to speak the language because of the pronunciation. The pronunciation is very different. Like in Spanish, the letter A is always A. In English, that's not the case. So that makes it a little hard. So yes, I can totally relate to Tia Lola. I can totally relate to the family because it's hard. Like you understand, but you are a little too shy to answer back. So it takes a little time, but it's worth it.
Interestingly, the Tia Lola book has led to other Tia Lola books because she's such a character. So if you enjoyed this Tia Lola book, there are other Tia Lola books that you can read and experience a little bit more of her fun-loving nature. So I know that you enjoy reading and enjoy encouraging kids to read. What piece of advice do you have for children this summer?
You should definitely read as much as possible. The more variety, the better. So you're not always reading the same stuff because you might get a little tired of that. But as you mentioned, like, so if you read Tia Lola, I actually have it here.
Oh,
so
good.
If you read Tia Lola, and it's a series of books, then I think it's great. And one thing, like I'm very into theater as well. So one thing I always say is read it, but make sure you imagine everything. Make sure you make it like you see the whole movie. You watch the whole movie, or you see the full play in your head. It makes it a lot more fun and relate to one of the characters because we can always learn from at least one of the characters in the book. We can relate to them. We can learn. So yeah, the more you comprehend, the better it is.
Well, that's great advice. I like that. And I like that idea of identifying with one or more of the characters. I know in reading this book, sometimes I wished that I got to be somebody like Tia Lola because she brought so much fun. But then sometimes I really understood Miguel and how he was feeling about things. So I think that's wonderful advice.
So I know Miguel was a little, let's say, uncomfortable when Tia Lola was very loud. So not just for anyone who speaks Spanish, but just in general, like I think it's very important that we are proud of our roots and where we come from. So like being loud, like for some people might be like, oh, that is embarrassing, but other people might enjoy it. So I think it's very important to respect where we come from and be proud of that.
That's also great advice. You are a font of wisdom today, and I appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate the time you spent with us. We'll see you soon, I hope.
Thank you, Beth. Bye.
In this book, How Tia Lola Came to Stay, Miguel learns to love Tia Lola and learns to admire her for the wonderful exuberance that she displays. It's a great story about acceptance. And I loved what Carolina said about being proud of your roots. I think that's important. Our author has included some great words for our word bank. The first word is the word peculiar. Peculiar means strange or odd or unusual. When Miguel first met Tia Lola, he found her to be a bit peculiar. Our next word is the word blubbers. Blubbers. That means to sob noisily or uncontrollably. Our next word is the word gobbled. Gobbled. That means to eat something hurriedly or noisily. And our last word is the word queasy. Queasy. That means to feel a little bit sick in your stomach, a little nauseated. Sometimes if you gobble things down too quickly, you might feel a little queasy. We have a fun activity today. It's all about learning words and learning new words because Tia Lola had to learn an awful lot of words when she first moved here. And Miguel had to learn a lot of words in Spanish so he could understand Tia Lola. And a great way to learn words is to write them down. I have here some sidewalk chalk. Now, I'm not going to write all over the desk, but I'm going to pretend that the desk is sidewalk. And I could write a word on the sidewalk, like I might write the word Tia. And we learned from Carolina that Tia means aunt. I have some other words here. I have the word close, the word morning, the word enough, and the word never. Now, you can play this game in a bunch of different ways. If you wanted to learn a different language, you could write the words in the language that you wanted to learn. Like, for example, Tia. And when you threw the rock on this word, you'd have to write what that word means in English. So a piece of sidewalk chalk can give you hours of enjoyment by playing all kinds of games. You don't have to only draw pictures. If you use sidewalk chalk to play a word game, we'd love for you to take a picture of it and share it with us. You can send it to connect@grade-level-reading-suncoast.net. It's been great to be with you today. This book is a keeper. I think it's so much fun, and it's just one in a series of books. You could start with this book and continue to read about Tia Lola. Whatever book you read, I hope you'll remember that reading is the key to succeeding. Bye-bye, my friends.